Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Tonight, our guest is Quinton Johnson. We call him Q. Q has been dealing with type 1 diabetes since he was 6, and hypertension and kidney failure, more specifically nephrotic syndrome, a kidney disorder that causes the body to excrete too much protein into the urine. It's often caused by damage to small blood vessels in the kidneys that filter waste and excess water from the blood. Usually, an underlying health condition plays a role, maybe like diabetes. And he's been dealing with this since he was 8 or 9 in the third or fourth grade. Although Q has spent over 30 years in and out of hospitals, he has been in renal failure since 2013. At the age of 23, he started dialysis for a period of 3.5 years. After 3.5 years, at the age of 29, he received a kidney pancreas transplant from a deceased donor. But recently, his pancreas transplant has begun to fail, and this in turn caused his kidney transplant to fail. This has also caused his diabetes to come back, but Q takes excellent care of himself, but he is in desperate need of a kidney transplant. Q has a rare blood disorder called aplastic anemia, a rare condition in which the body stops producing enough new blood cells. Currently, Quinton is listed at the University Transplant Institute in San Antonio, Texas. For more information, you can call 210-567-577 or 1-88-336-9633. You can also apply online at https://utclivingdonor.com, and that will be going across your screen throughout the broadcast. So you will get the information. Also, if you go to my Facebook page and check the notice of the broadcast, in the comments, there's all kinds of extra things about Quinton, the podcast he did with Kent Bressler, information about all of his health issues, and more importantly, where he's listed the phone numbers and the link to access online if you want to be considered. So, at any rate, Q is looking for a transplant. He prefers a living donor transplant, but under the right circumstances, he would accept the deceased donor. Please give a warm welcome to our friend, Quinton Johnson. Q, how you doing tonight?
I'm good, sir. How are you? Beautiful
I'm
interview.
good.
Beautiful biography on me.
Okay, did I get everything right?
Yeah,
Did I
you
mess up?
did. It was nice.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Our friend Elizabeth is watching. Hi, Elizabeth. So, okay, let's get right into questions. Um, please state your full and correct name as well as your date of birth.
Quinton Maurice Johnson, January 31st, 1986.
Okay, so if people are looking to donate, that's the information that they need, right?
Yes, sir.
And how old are you at this time?
37.
Okay, still a young man.
Hmm.
It's my understanding that you have been dealing with type 1 diabetes since you were 6. Please talk to us about your experiences as a diabetic.
Yeah, I got diagnosed way back in 1992. 6 years old. Don't remember much. I just remember growing up, my mom was teaching me things that I couldn't do. I want to be a kid. I see kids eating this, drinking that, and I couldn't do it. I really didn't understand until I really got to high school what was really going on with my body. But yeah, I really, maybe I would say about the first 6 years, I didn't really control it because, like I said, I got diagnosed in the first grade. But then as I got older, I understood it more. I started learning about it. And then ever since then, I just became tightly controlled. Because of me not really tightly controlling it, that what affected my kidneys. And then a couple years later, at the age of 8 or 9, I developed nephrotic syndrome. So, it's been an uphill battle. the diabetes is easy nowadays compared to way back when, with all the CGMs and the insulin pumps and all that. And my hemoglobin A1C is anywhere from 4.8 to 5.5. It's like perfect. It's just right now, it's just the kidneys because of the diabetes for so long. Eventually, it was going to take over my kidneys. And, I'm in need of a living donor.
Okay. I understand that you spent approximately 30 years in and out of the hospital,
Yeah.
and that you've been in renal failure since 2013. Can you tell us a little bit about how all that came about?
It's just living with these diseases because I've also, and when I got diagnosed with nephrotic syndrome at the age of 8, I also developed hypertension. It's just living with these diseases for 30 plus years. The diabetes affects the kidneys, etc., etc. Yeah, and just appointments after appointments, growing up, hospitals after hospital, every month it's lab work, it's doctors, it's kidney doctors, it's diabetes doctors, it's, with the rare disorder I have, the aplastic anemia, which I got in 2016, it's that infectious disease doctor. It's just, it's just week after week, month after month for 30 years since I was in first grade, doctors and labs and hospital visits and being admitted and emergencies and everything. So it takes a toll on your body, but I'm used to it. I have to be used to it. I've been fighting it since I was basically a child.
All your life?
Yeah.
I understand that you started dialysis at the age of 23. What modality of dialysis? Was it in center or home dialysis?
No, I was doing peritoneal dialysis in the end of 2012. I started peritoneal. Yeah, I did that for 3.5 years. And it was draining. And now you fast forward a decade later and I'm back on.
Okay. You had a pancreas kidney transplant from a deceased donor. Can you tell us about that? Where and
Yes.
when and what
Yes.
happened?
It was in the middle of April of 2015. I was doing my peritoneal dialysis, hooked up to the machine, and I get a phone call from the hospital saying, "Can you be at the hospital within an hour? We do have a kidney pancreas transplant that we want to give you." So I'm uber excited, extra excited. I've been praying for this day for about 4 years. So I called my dialysis team and said, "Hey, I need to disconnect and drain myself because I got a kidney pancreas transplant waiting for me. I need to show up to the hospital within an hour." So I did that, disconnected myself. I got driven to the hospital. And they walked me through the process. I got there about 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30. And they just walked me through everything, signed some paperwork. They showed me exactly what's going to go on. And then literally the afternoon, I had the surgery.
Okay. Were there any problems, complications?
No, I remember waking up and I remember them telling me, because they were monitoring me like clockwork. They told me the first thing I asked for was, "Where's my insulin pump?" But I didn't need an insulin pump anymore because I remember them checking my sugars and it was anywhere between like 50 and 70, which means the pancreas was working very well. Yeah, but the first few months afterwards it was difficult. A lot of meds. You go from taking insulin and hypertension, high blood pressure meds, and doing dialysis at night to now you're on like 60 pills a day and wearing a mask and constantly washing hands and going to the hospital 3 or 4 times a week for checkups and lab work. And it was a lot the first 3 months, but it was worth it because it was new for me. Like, I had a functioning pancreas, which I didn't have since I was 5 years old. So Now being able to eat or drink whatever I want, not being connected to a dialysis machine at night, not being able to really, even though in my mind I'm still treating myself as a diabetic, being able to just eat or drink nothing, not worrying about my sugar skyrocketing and not taking medicine for it was beautiful. It was lovely, and I was excited for it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to let you know, our friend Donna Tissot is watching the broadcast, and of course Shannon Mulroy's here. She's pulling for you. Got
Mm,
greetings from New York. Wants to make sure you're okay, buddy.
appreciate it. Appreciate all the love from everybody, man. Goes a long way.
So, when was it official that your pancreas transplant began to fail? What happened there?
So, like I said, I got the surgery in April of 2015, and then I noticed, because I still would check my sugar. Like I would eat and drink something, and then literally like 2 hours later, I would check my sugar, but my sugar would be perfect. It'd be like 90, maybe 100. But it was in the spring or summer of 2019 where I felt high. So I had a meter and I checked the expiration date on the strips, and they didn't expire for like another 8 months. And I checked my sugar, and my sugar was 375. So I called the 24-hour transplant in-call number, and I told him, I said, yeah, my blood sugar, I just checked it and it was 375. So they wanted me to run to the hospital, get there quickly, and they admitted me, and they ran tests on me, and they said, yeah, unfortunately your pancreas could be given out. Your transplanted pancreas could be given out. So I was like, oh, here we go. So it went back to diabetes, and obviously the high blood sugars affect your kidneys, and my kidneys started giving out. So it was in the spring or summer of 2019. So the transplanted pancreas and kidney worked for about 4 years.
Okay. Now, just so people understand, I know that you take very good care of yourself,
Yes, sir.
particularly with your diabetes and your insulin.
Yeah.
Please describe the things that you do to help you maintain your health.
Oh, because I'm a diabetic, I came back to being a diabetic. It's just a regimen for me. I eat at the same time every day, low carb, protein, healthy fats. I drink nothing but water and coffee. I keep juice in the fridge just in case my sugar starts to trend down, so I can have something to pick me up. But yeah, it's pretty much the same time, the same foods every day. It's just a repetitive thing. Most diabetics are like that. We usually eat the same thing every single day. So, and it just keeps my sugar in balance.
You got more people checking in here.
Hmm.
Q. Bobby Reed wants to listen to your story, and our friend Candy Gagney is on the broadcast checking it out, and Susan Chapman from our group is talking about what a great warrior you are. So you got
And
a lot of friends online tonight, buddy.
I appreciate all the love from everybody. I appreciate it.
Talk to us about this rare blood disorder, aplastic anemia,
Yes.
where the body stops making new blood cells. How is that complicating your health?
Yes, I was in the hospital, give or take about 10 months. They would always check my CBC, my red blood cells, white and platelets, and everything just started dropping. Like my numbers, my red, white, and platelets all got under zero point 0.5, and my platelets got as low as -9. My red was like 0.2, my white was like 0.4, and they would give me blood and platelet transfusions, and then they would jump up, and then literally by the next morning they would jump back down. And I was in the hospital fighting bruising and bleeding and passing out. I don't know how it came about. I think what they said was it was because of the anti-rejection meds I was getting. But regardless, I'm not even on those anti-rejection meds, and my red blood cell counts are still low. still like in the twos. So
Okay.
it's
Something new that we're fighting then.
yeah, I got it in 2016, and it's just something I deal with. I'm cautious. They give me an iron injection every month. I take iron supplements every day, but doesn't really help. My numbers are low, but it's not enough to run me to the hospital to get me a blood transfusion. It's not where it's like under 1. Like it's above. It's between 2 and 2.5, which is still in the red area. But they're like, you've been a lot lower, so we don't really need to worry about it. Now, if it starts to drop, then obviously I'd have to rush to the hospital. But I'm stable. But I do bleed and bruise easily because of it. My red blood cell counts being low.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand from what you told us so far that you're back on a dialysis. Tell us a little bit about what's going on with that.
Yes, I started back with peritoneal dialysis back in January. I have an appointment every month. I get lab work every month. I just saw them last week. Numbers are fine. I literally see the doctors for about a minute or two. My numbers are perfect. The machine's doing what it needs to do. I'm gaining more energy. It's tiring because it takes a toll on your body, but I can't imagine myself without it and how bad my kidneys would be, even worse. So, but yeah, I see them every month, and it's just real quick. They're impressed with everything I'm doing. Plus the diet, the way I eat, I'm very controlled with my food, so it helps.
Okay. Are you back on home peritoneal dialysis?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how long have you been on that currently?
Since January of this year.
Okay, so recently.
Yes, I just started back up.
All right. I want to make sure people get this. So it's scrolling across the screen, and I'm going to ask you about it.
Okay.
I understand that you are currently listed at the University Transplant Institute in San Antonio, Texas. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And people can call, the number's going across the screen now, 210-567-5777, 210-567-5777, or 888-336-9633. That's toll free. 988 or 888, I'm sorry, 336-9633. And you can also apply online to request to become a donor for Q. That would be https://utclivingdonor.com. How long have you been listed with them, Q?
Since last summer, I believe. Last summer, maybe a longer. I'm not too sure. Either summer or 2.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you favor a living donor. Can you explain why you would rather have a living donor than a deceased donor if you had your preference?
I know living donors, I believe they last longer. But if I was to get a deceased, I wouldn't be mad about that. I would take whatever call I can get, but preferably a living donor because I heard they last longer than deceased. But they asked me actually if I wanted to do another kidney pancreas, but I just said strictly kidney this time because
you know how to handle the diabetes and the
it's so
pancreas stuff,
simple for
right?
me. It's such a sensitive organ that I just don't. I'd rather just have the kidney. They said
And
they
just so
would want to.
people, I'm sorry, go ahead, Quinton.
They said they would look into the future of it, but as of right now, I'm just focused on a kidney transplant.
Okay. And so people understand, if the university transplant offered you a deceased donor kidney that was a good kidney for you, you would probably accept that.
I mean, according to you, Kent and Shannon, when you get that call, you take it. So I would take the call. If it's a deceased owner, I'm taking that call and I'm heading to the hospital. If it's a living donor, I'm taking that. But you know, whatever call I get first, I'm gonna take it.
Okay. Tell us about working with Kidney Solutions. What have your experiences been? What steps are they helping you take to help find you a kidney?
Yeah, man. Kidney Solutions. I was referred to it by a friend, and I got in touch with Kent and Shannon, and even you, Uncle Jim, and y'all are like a family to me. We talk every week, see how everybody's doing. They're getting the word out. They're giving me flyers that I pass out when I go places. My friends are passing out things and posting a picture of the flyer on their Instagram and social media sites. You know, it's like it's a family that they know what I'm going through because they're in need of. They either had the transplant or they've been there, so it's just easy to relate to them. Like if I have questions, I can call somebody and talk to them, let them know what I'm going through because they've been through it. So you know, it's a big family, and I love them to death, and they always got my back.
Okay. Your friends Gene Blankenship and Jessica Contreras want to say hi too, Q.
Hi.
All right. So they got a support group on Monday night, right?
Yes, sir. The support group at 6 Central. That's my time. So yeah,
Can ask
big old family.
can ask questions and get to hear from those of us that are a little bit further down the road, and
Yeah.
us old guys. And Shannon's prettier than all of us, I know.
Yeah. Yeah, and we Kent, talks about some stories and he'll relay some messages and then people will talk about what they're going through and then you give your input if you've gone through it. And like I said, it's like a family meeting for an hour. And just, keeps us close and there's other people out there that are going through the things you're going through. So, it's always good to have that in your corner.
All right. Q, do you have any final statements you would like to make to our audience tonight before we
Um,
conclude our discussion?
yeah, just trying to get the word out, for the living donor. But like I said, whatever donor comes first, I take it. But, I'm looking for a living donor, from kidney for a kidney. Just hopefully, before this year's out of 2023, I get the call. I'm just hoping I get that with the help of from you and Kent and Shannon and everybody at Kidney Solutions, having my back. We'll see how this year goes, but so far, I'm holding on. I'm still young and I'm doing very well for myself, but just hoping 2023 is my year. Shannon thinks it's my year, so I'm gonna have my fingers crossed on that.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
Well, I just want to tell you, I'm going to share the replay of this broadcast all over the place to all 100 of my Facebook groups, on 2 of my Instagrams, 3 of my Twitters. You name a platform, including TikTok, you're going to be on it
Yes, sir. I
this week,
appreciate
okay, bud? I'm going to make sure that we get the word out for you, so I don't want you to worry about that, okay? And I'm going to ask everybody that's listening to this broadcast, and that is Q's friend, please share the broadcast to your personal page. I know as kidney patients, you can't donate a kidney, but you know, please share for Quinton because he really needs your help. He's been waiting a while. What's the total amount of time now that you've been waiting for a kidney, Q?
Oh, a few years actually. Yeah, my kidneys. They talked about needing a new transplant about a year and a half, 2 years ago. So, and then I just started dialysis back in January. So, it's been a
Okay,
couple years.
been a few years. All right. Last chance. Is there anything else that you would like to say to our audience before it's time for us to stop.
Yes, Uncle Jim has all my info down there. You know, don't be afraid to contact and get some info yourself. Maybe you can give it to a friend or family. You know, anything that can help me, I'd appreciate it. And I just like to thank Kent Bressler, Shannon Milroy, and you, Uncle Jim, for helping me out, taking tremendous steps and get me what I need to get. And hopefully 2023 is my year, and we'll see.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
All right, Quinton, I promised you a short broadcast. So that's it for us tonight. You can go, buddy. I know you got to do dialysis through the evening at home. So we'll get you quickened.
Now. Yeah.
And don't worry, your Uncle Jim's going to be sharing that instant replay.
I appreciate it, sir.
All right. Well, you have a good night, Q. I got a couple of things to say to the audience, and then the broadcast will end. So you're free to leave if you want to, buddy.
Okay. Y'all take care, man. You have a good night. If you're on
you have a good night, my friend.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye now. All right, everybody. That's our broadcast for tonight with our friend Quinton. Please, really, I'm going to post the replay all over the place. This guy's been dealing with this since he was 6 years old. He's almost 40 now, so that's really a long time. And we want to help him. He's a good guy. He takes real good care of himself. Just a bunch of situations out of his control. So, at any rate, I'm going to say good night for the evening. I promised Quinton a short broadcast, so I'm trying to be a good boy. So, all right, folks, we will see you next week. I have the guy on that invented the medication that can help you with your IgA. So you definitely want to check that out. You have a good evening.